Hello, my name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. In this episode here, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the motive into the JFK assassination. As I point out in a lot of my videos and stuff of evidence I've uncovered, and I present it the best way I can. There is a lot of things we have to look at when it comes to JFK assassination. And even as I point out in my videos and stuff like that, even like the false claims and stuff. But we always hear about the JFK assassination, and everybody has their theories out there. Don't get me wrong; there's thousands of theories, but no one really talked about what would be the motive behind Oswald and the assassination. Well, what I'm going to do is I want to throw out some more evidence and more information that I have, and trying to figure this out about the motive behind the assassination of JFK. What we're going to do is we're going to go over some facts, and maybe this will give us the motive why Oswald was in on the assassination. Plus, we have to look at this. Always in a murder case, they always try to prove, their case of who assassinated something or somebody killed somebody or one thing or another. But they never really talk about the motive behind it. They never really talk about that. And usually when they do about motives and stuff, they usually concentrate on the person themselves, see the reactions, how they answer questions and stuff, because that'll give you a little bit more insight on their mental state. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of this stuff about Oswald and how everything unfolds. Now, a lot of people ask me questions is, why was Governor Connally shot? Why was he supposed to be assassinated? Which is a good question. Why was he supposed to be assassinated? So I looked into it. I looked into this a few years ago, and because I came up with the same question as why was they trying to assassinate Governor Connally? I know they was assassinating JFK, or as I point out, it was a military hit and stuff, but it was like, why Governor Connally? Well, when I was doing my research and stuff like that, there's a lot of things that stands out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to point them out here to you. Now, everybody knows that here's Lee Harvey Oswald. He's a Marine, okay, and in 1959, he was here's his honorable discharge right here, honorable discharge right now, okay, that he received from the Marine Corps and stuff. And then after he got this from the Marine Corps and everything else, he decides he's going to defect and go into Russia. Well, what people don't know, and this is behind the scenes, okay, and in the files and in the documents, okay, that in 1961, when JFK took office, Lyndon B. Johnson asked JFK to appoint a new U.S. Secretary of Navy. And the person that Lyndon B. Johnson asked him to, for the position was, at the time, John Connally, before he became governor. John Connally took this position from 1961, but in December of 1961, he turned the job down. He left the office of that, and he ran for governor and became governor of Texas. During his seat in there, as being a U.S. Secretary of Navy, what John Connally did was, and what people don't know behind the scenes is, when he came across Lee Harvey Oswald's files and see he was honorable discharged from the United States Marine Corps, he reversed the decision. And when he reversed the decision and gave Oswald a dishonorable discharge, because of what he did is after he left the Marine Corps, he defected into Russia and he relinquished all his United States citizenship and everything else. So they reversed the honorable discharge into a dishonorable discharge for Oswald. And John Connally signed that. Then John Connally became governor, okay, in 1961. Then in 1962, now they're clear blue now, 1962, Oswald comes back to the United States with a wife from Russia, okay. Now, he changed as people, when they talk about Oswald stuff, he kind of changed him. He got more upset. He was more frustrated, okay, and everything else. Could it be because see, Oswald wanted to be in the military. This is a plain fact. Oswald wanted to be in the military. When his brother went to the military, Oswald couldn't wait till he gets in the military. Okay, so he couldn't wait till he get a certain age so he can join the military. But with Oswald now being honorable discharge, and then in 1961, that decision was reversed because he defected into Russia and he got a dishonorable discharge, kind of got Oswald upset. Now, it comes back in 1962. Then in April, which is today is April the 10th, and in April 10th, 1963, Oswald tried to assassinate Major General Edwin Walker. He tried to assassinate him on April 10th, which is today's date, April 10th, 1963. But he failed. Okay, he failed. Now, remember, in Dallas, Texas, on November 22nd, Oswald failed the first time by trying to assassinate General Walker. Which you think about this for a minute. He got a dishonorable discharge. He's kind of upset now about that. He comes back and he tries to, and he goes ahead and he takes a backyard image, which we see in February, and he developed it. Okay, he got that image and he's holding up a rifle and stuff, and holding up a communist newspaper. Okay, and then he orders their car counter rifle and revolver in March. Then in April, he goes ahead and decides he wants to assassinate, like I said, Major General Edwin Walker. But he failed. So he goes to Louisiana, or New Orleans, excuse me, New Orleans. Goes down there and pushes everybody against the American people. The government's bad. The government's bad. Okay, putting down the government and everything else. Then he goes back to Dallas. But before he goes back to Texas, he stops by Mexico, and he goes into the Russian ambassador there because he wanted to go back into Russia. And then he was denied. So he went to Dallas, Texas. Actually in Texas. He went to Ruth Paine's house, and Ruth Paine got him a job at the Texas School Book Depository. And then out of the clear blue, here we have JFK and Governor Connally was going to go through Dallas, Texas in a motorcade for JFK to be reelected. Now remember, JFK appointed John Connally as a U.S. Secretary of the Navy. John Connally was the one to sign Oswald's he's the one to reverse decision and gave Oswald dishonorable discharge. So now we have JFK appointed John Connally into doing that as being a U.S. Secretary of the Navy. John Connally refers to the decision of Oswald's honorable discharge to a dishonorable discharge. He comes back upset because he got them papers. He tried to assassinate General Edwin Walker, failed. So now his next plot was he can kill two birds with one stone, basically. Because now he's got a motorcade where he's going to have President Kennedy and Connally, which the two people he was pissed off at. Now, a lot of people says, oh, he loved Kennedy and stuff like that. No, he didn't. Okay, there was a lot of people back then. There was a lot of people says, you know, about Kennedy. They was behind Kennedy. They was backing Kennedy. They loved Kennedy. But there is also reports of stuff where people used to sit there and say bad things about Kennedy and everything else as well. So, people say all they want about everybody loved Kennedy, but that can be an easy excuse. But a lot of people did hate it, John F. Kennedy as well. Okay, so this is the reason why. To motive to me, okay, would be because he was upset because he got the dishonorable discharge. Because Oswald wanted to be in the military, and then when we look at the JFK assassination, and as I point out, it was a military hit. Okay, Oswald failed. Okay, he looked like he failed. To him, he failed himself and everything else, and he failed the military and stuff. So he wanted to prove himself, not to our government, to the Russian government, that he can be a good soldier. He can carry out orders and he can do the job. So he tried to decide to assassinate Major General Edwin Walker, excuse me, to prove that he is a good soldier, which he failed. Then when it comes up to the time of JFK being assassinated, he wanted Governor Connally assassinated as well because of what they'd done to him, because Governor Connally is the one that signed his dishonorable discharge papers. JFK was the one that signed John Connally the seat of the U.S. Secretary of the Navy. Okay. So now Oswald's upset with both of them men. So he figures, well, if they're coming through Dallas, okay, I'll take care of both of them at one time. So to make sure that the job got done, that's when it turned into a military assassin plan, because they wanted to make sure that because they already seen him messed up one time, he couldn't assassinate Edwin Walker, Major General Edwin Walker. So he needed help to be able to pull this off to assassinate both men. So somewhere down the line, behind the scenes, he got in contact with Russia and they planned it out well. That's why I said it's a military hit. Okay. Then, because Oswald wanted to prove to them that he is a good soldier. He's a good soldier. And he was upset because of the dishonorable discharge papers. And he figures, well, I could take care of JFK and Governor Connally at the same time. This is why when we watch the films and images, we see this gunman here, this gunman here, and we have John Connally. Okay. We have John Connally, which let me pull this up in the center here. Oops. Looks like I actually closed him out. Okay, let's move him in the center. Move this one up, and let's pull this one up. We have John Connally. Okay, we have this gunman on the second floor of the county records building. His first shot strikes JFK. His second shot he takes strikes Governor Connally. Over in shelter number 3, we have the one gunman takes a fatal headshot to JFK. Then we have the second gunman comes around to the side and takes a shot at Governor Connally. So we have two gunmen in three gunmen, but in 2 different locations. This gunman here shoots JFK and Governor Connally. So he shot both of them. Over here, with Governor Connally and JFK still sitting up, both of these gunmen takes their shots. One of them directly shot to JFK. That's the fatal headshot. The other gunman, a direct shot to Governor Connally. This is why I keep on telling people not only JFK was supposed to be assassinated that day, but Governor Connally as well. And both of these gunmen don't have no walkie-talkies or communication with one another, as I point out, because this gunman, if there was walkie-talkies or communication through the walkie-talkies, this gunman here could have went ahead and called them and said, hey, don't take your shots. I already shot JFK, shot Governor Connally. But he didn't. These gunmen still took their shots. So you see what I'm saying? The motive to me behind the assassination of JFK, and it was planned because Oswald was pissed off because he got from an honorable discharge from the United States Marine Corps to a dishonorable discharge from the United States Marine Corps because of John Connally signed the papers, okay, to Oswald's dishonorable discharge papers in 1961. He reversed the decision because Oswald defected to Russia and he turned over all his citizenship and everything else, which people's not going to point this out or let you know this information. And then it was JFK is the one that appointed Governor Connally or John Connally to the U.S. Secretary of the Navy in 1961 as well. So in 1961, John Connally wasn't in office that long, but he made sure that Oswald's dishonorable discharge papers was filled out and the orders was reversed to where he took the honorable discharge to a dishonorable discharge. Then he left and became governor. Then in 1962, Oswald comes back because he's upset. So he's going to try to get back to the government by trying to assassinate General Walker, which failed. He failed. So he decided, well, this time when they plan on Governor Connally being with JFK as they're going through Dallas and stuff, then Oswald went ahead and says, well, now I can get both of them. I can pay both of them back because they gave him discharge papers. Okay. To me, the motive was, that's why if you notice that when they talk about Oswald stuff, he was always quiet, always this, he always kept to himself and stuff. But behind the scenes, he was always upset. He was always angry. But he didn't come angry or upset and stuff until after 1961 when he got his dishonorable discharge papers. Okay. He was happy before that. He always got along with people and everything else. But then he became in 1969, in 1962, when he came back, he kept to himself. Okay. They said he was abusive even to his wife. Okay. He was upset with her because of manhood. Okay. That's what it is when it comes to people. I understand that a lot of people in manhood. Okay. They get frustrated and their motive is always behind something because they're always upset with something or something happened to them to take their honor away from them or their respect from them. That's why they do the things they do. That's why a lot of men does the things they do. Okay. But when they went ahead and gave him a dishonorable discharge, and it did not happen in 1959. Now remember, he was discharged in 1959. But then none of this occurred for him getting dishonorable discharge papers or anything until 1961 when JFK took office. And then Governor Connally, which at that time wasn't a governor at the time, he was working for Lyndon B. Johnson, and John Connally became the Secretary of the Navy. Okay, in 1961. That's when Oswald's discharge papers was changed from honorable discharge to dishonorable discharge because he defected to Russia. And he turned and he gave over his United States citizenship and everything else. So he was upset that he was dishonored because of his Navy career stuff. He wanted to be in Navy and stuff. This is why we see an assassination that two gunmen from two different locations taking shots at Governor Connally because of the pure simple fact of it is Oswald was trying to get two birds, one stone. Governor Connally and JFK happened to be in the same vehicle. This is why he took the shots, and he made sure the shots occurred to JFK and Governor Connally. There was a military hit in the JFK assassination because Oswald did fail. He failed when he was trying to assassinate General Walker to prove his loyalty as a soldier. Okay, he had proven his loyalty, but he ended up failing in that. So that's why when it came to the JFK assassination, they made sure if that was going to be put out there, then if he's going to assassinate both of these people here, he's going to need help, for one. And two is they're going to make sure the job gets done. Okay, because Lee Harvey Oswald already failed. And if you think about it, when Oswald was picked up and everything else, he failed again because of he had the A. Heidel ID on him that he ordered a car cannon rifle and a revolver and everything else like that. Okay, and he only asked for one. I think it was one representative as his lawyer was a man named Mr. Abb which was working for, I don't have my notes in front of me, but he was working for the Russia ambassador and stuff like that as their lawyer. So Oswald only asked for him. Now he did get legal advice and stuff, but he kept on turning them all down because even his brother was trying to get him a lawyer, and he told him, "No, I'm getting my own lawyer," and stuff like that. There was people even offered, but he turned them all down because he just wanted that one person, because he wants to try to get back into Russia. Okay, saying he's a patsy. He wants to get back into Russia because he know he was doing it. That's why when he was going through the police department, he was holding his fist up like that, saying the job was done, trying to take credit for it. But then it was known that where the assassin that took the fatal headshot JFK, that came out later in my research and stuff, because Mr. Spruder says the assassin was behind him, okay, and stuff like that, as I point out in my research and my videos and stuff like that. But to me, the motive behind Oswald trying to assassinate JFK and Governor Connally was the pure simple fact that they gave him dishonorable discharge papers. And he was upset over it. His motive was he was upset and aggravated and pissed at JFK and Governor Connally. JFK, because he became the president, that's the reason why his file has been brought back up. He appointed John Connally as a Secretary of the Navy, which signed Oswald's papers from honorable discharge to dishonorable discharge. And then basically after that, he went ahead and he left and he became governor of Dallas, or governor of Texas, excuse me. And that's why Oswald wanted to pay both of them back, because they gave him a dishonorable discharge. Like I said, a lot of people have motives. A lot of people come up with this, come up with that. But to me, the motive behind it is when you look at it, and you start going over the stories and you start going behind the scenes, okay, and you start presenting this evidence and stuff like that, you see he has a discharge of honorable discharge, but then when 1961, he got dishonorable discharge papers because of reverse decision, and then find out John Connally was the one that signed it, and because he was working for the Secretary of Navy, and he was appointed by JFK in 1961 to take that position. Okay, so this is the reason why that when JFK and Governor Connally was going through Dallas, the motive was Oswald was upset. That would be Oswald's motive, because they discharged him, they dishonored him, okay, by giving him dishonorable discharge papers instead of the honorable discharge papers that he received in the beginning. But Oswald was actually Oswald's fault, because he wanted to defect into Russia. He wanted to give up his United States citizenship and everything else, and that's what happens. Okay, that's a penalty you have to pay. But it pissed Oswald off. So I just want to give this information out, whether you want to believe this or not. Okay, it's up to you. Like I said, when it even comes to my research, if you believe my research, thank you, appreciate it. If you don't believe my research, I still thank you. You know, it's understandable. Everybody has their own opinion. I just wanted to give this information out as well, because I think people need to know everything, not just parts, a little here, a little there. Okay, because people get confused about why was this person assassinated, why was they after him and stuff. But when you put one and one together and you see it's two, and then you put two and two together and it's four, and you start adding it up and stuff like that, it comes, you know, the answer has always been in front of the public's eye. Okay, like I said, the answer has always been there. But it's just no one ever took time to piece it together. No one's never take the time to look over all this evidence. Okay, just like a lot of people, when you present evidence, they're going to say, "Oh no, this is wrong. Oh no, that's wrong. This couldn't happen. This couldn't happen because this person said this person said that." Okay, that's why mostly in my research and on my research, I always show photographic evidence to back up everything I say, because of how can you disbelief in what can be seen. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, there's people out there says, "Well, this image is altered, that image is altered." They're always going to say something's been altered because they want to prove their case and throw away the truth or throw away the evidence, because they're too busy following other people's research as well, which they're pushing the same old story over and over again. So that's also understandable as well. But I wanted to get this information out because the motive to me was he was upset because of the discharge papers that he got from the United States Marine Corps because John Connally signed them and stuff. And it happened while JFK was in office as well. So he was trying to get two birds with one stone. And then the reason why it turned into a military hit is because he failed when he was trying to assassinate Major General Edwin Walker. Okay, there's a lot of things you have to piece together and you have to look at before you can actually present anything. And that's the motive to me. Okay, whether you want to think it's a different motive, that's understandable. Okay, like I said, everybody has their own opinion. But this is the motive to me why Oswald would do that. Okay, why would make him go overboard like he did? I just wanted, like I said, I always want to give information out, stuff, point out some facts and stuff like that to point to the people, so the people can understand more about the JFK assassination and understand it more. Like I said, you know, I'm the only researcher who's going to present and tell everybody the facts and the truth into the case, even though people out there will say, no, he's not telling you the facts. He's lying. He's making this up, making that up. But as I point out, I also show photographic evidence to everything I present. Okay, I show photographic evidence. And like Oswald's papers, his dishonorable discharge papers, okay, that's in the files, that's in the documents, that is there as well. Just like as you see here, display of Oswald's honorable discharge from 1959. All the files and stuff is there. It's always been there in the public's eye for past 50 something years. It's always been there, like I said, but no one's never took time to go in a little bit more depth into it and trying to piece together and see what's the connection in between this or in that. But I want to present this as well. Like I said, don't forget that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends about us. Always in the description down below, you find the site where you can order my book, Evidence of Conspiracy. All book sales all the way up until May will go into that GoFundMe account, so we can try to get this documentary made because I wanted to do this documentary this year, but it's getting kind of late into the year because I want to do it in June or July. But you got to have time to where you can get permits and everything else, and that's why the site's been up for over 8 months now, and there really hasn't been that much made. But there has been some donations on there, which I do appreciate, and some of my book sales, like I said, my book sales are going to go on to that as well. But we still got a long way to go because I want to do it the proper way. I want to do it, the best documentary ever made into the JFK assassination, shown from every point of view. So don't forget that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends about us. Thank you, and don't forget to share this information and other information from my other videos to your friends, relatives, and to your friends and all social medias. Thank you, and you have a pleasant, pleasant day.